You're listening to Gen XP. Let's play some games.
Previously on the Shattered World of Voar. A small breather on the lonely horizon was a welcome respite after escaping the Misty Pine Forest and its hunting cats and strange insectoid creatures. Avo spent some time reminiscing about past friendships and the weight of destiny with Captain Fairfax, while Theric delved deep into the mystery of the enemy and their origins in the belly of the ship. The destruction of the island broke both of the adventurers from their reverie and also provided the perfect distraction for an enemy pirate ship to approach and attack. We rejoin the crew of the Lonely Horizon as battle begins. Welcome back to the Shattered World of Voar.
As the island behind you cracks and sunders, crashing down into the whirling tempest, the red moonlight above you, you all spin to see a host of wild-eyed pirates with swords and axes clawing their way over the railing of the ship. Just beyond, and slightly lower than the horizon, the ship that you're on, you can see a smaller pirate ship, a smaller airship, hovering just below eyeline. Everybody's rolling an initiative. What'd we all get?
15.
Okay, so Avo, you're at 15.
7.
Theric's at 7. The crew also leaps into... Forward, backwards. Okay. The crew leaps into action as well. You start to hear the shouts from the captain, to arms, to arms! You hear the crossbow twang from high up above as Quartermaster Hillman begins to unleash her quarrels at the targets below. But Avo, you're actually fast enough that you're the first to react. There are 7 men climbing onto the ship, maybe 15 feet from you, in a line. They're all lined up at the railing, in the process of climbing over the railing. There are grappling hooks there, and you can see more behind them. But the ones that are coming onto the ship, there's 7 of them that are currently on the ship at the moment.
The first one that I can see, I am casting Hex.
Okay, so of the 7, you've got 7 in a line in front of you. Would it be one in the middle, towards the end?
Whichever one is closest to me.
Okay. We'll say, since you just came out of the captain's quarters, that you, Captain Fairfax, and Theric are towards the left of the line of pirates coming onto the ship. So you're hitting one of the ones towards the left end of that line. You immediately cast Hex, and then what?
And I pull Gambler from the scabbard.
Okay. It does crackle with eldritch energy as it comes out of the sheath in your hand.
And I rush that same individual that I hexed.
Sounds good. So this is a hobgoblin with reddish skin, a hand axe in one hand, and he's drawn a short sword now that he's on the deck in his other hand. He just kind of growls at you as you rush up.
I will lunge in and...
Perfect. Go ahead and give me an attack roll.
And I'm spending my inspiration.
Okay.
I rolled a natural 1.
Good time to spend it then.
I'll definitely trade that in for that. 24.
24, yeah. Your blade slices across his chest. Go ahead and give me damage.
He takes a total of 16 points.
Okay, 16 points. Yeah, he screams in pain as you slash him. Grunt doesn't go down, but there's just an open bleeding gash across his chest. He kind of staggers underneath that, growls at you. Is that all for you?
Just roar a charge.
Okay.
To arms!
Yep. He squares up with you, looks like they all start to race in, heading towards. They're for the most part starting to pair off into a fierce deck battle with just people squaring off. Captain Fairfax has got one that he's dueling with. There's one that's run up the stairs towards Devereaux, First Mate Devereaux at the helm. Lonnie, Nani, Ranford, and Webb are circling and sparring with them. There is one that races towards you as well, Theric. But at first it seems like he's racing towards you, but you see that he has a large, like a battle axe, a one-headed axe. You happen to be standing somewhat near one of the main mast supports that goes up to the balloon. He runs towards you and then spins and starts to hack at the ropes that hold the balloon on the ship. At least some of the ropes that control the balloon. He's starting to hack at those. That's what he's doing, the one nearest you. So you are not in physical combat right now, but you are close to him. So if you tried to move away, he might be able to take a swing at you. Avo, the one on you with the short sword and the hand axe, kind of lunges towards you, and it looks like he's going to try to grab hold of you with the axe. A grappling check is he's going to try to pin you with the axe so that he can move you around, perhaps. So it's going to be an opposed grapple check, opposed athletics check. He's got a 15.
He has grappled.
Okay. As he grabs you, he basically hooks the back of the axe around the back of your shoulder and underneath your armpit and starts to drag you towards the edge of the ship. He moves you to the very edge and then tries to stab you with the short sword. He manages to hit a 12 with the short sword.
That is a miss.
Okay, so he's dragged you to the edge of the ship. You feel your foot touch the railing, and as you're standing there off to your right now, you see about 20 feet down the deck of the other ship that has approached the Lonely Horizon. It's about half the size of the Lonely Horizon. It's small. It doesn't look like it carries much more, but between the 7 that are already on the ship, you can see 4 more climbing the ropes and 1 on the helm of the ship holding it steady. But that's about 20 feet down.
Okay.
Theric, it is your turn.
Is there a cluster of them anywhere, like 2 or 3 within 5 feet of each other?
For sure, yeah. You can. There is a chaotic press of battle that kind of swarms back and forth across the deck. But with Lonnie and Nani fighting the way that they are, there's often a couple of them that are near each other. So you can hit 2 or 3 within a 5 or 10 foot area.
But can I hit them without hitting any of our crew? In a 5 foot area, it would explode in a 5 foot area.
What spell are you wanting to use?
Ice knife, and it hits, and it explodes, and everything within 5 feet of it takes.
You think it's possible? I'd have you make based on the chaotic press. I'd have you make an Arcana check or an Arcane check to see if you can manage to avoid friendly fire, if that's something you want to do.
Okay, so I'm not going to do that right now. I should probably deal with this guy who's cutting down the mast.
Okay.
I will point at him, and as I do, my rainbow darts start to appear in front of me, 3 of them, and they all shoot out into this guy that's swinging at the mast.
Okay.
And he gets hit for 10 points of damage.
So just zip, zip, zip. You hear 3 just concussive thuds as they slam into his chest. He kind of grunts in the impact, staggers a bit. You see a little bit of blood come out of his nose and out the side of his mouth. He looks at you just murderous rage, but is still standing. Is that it for you?
Yes.
Okay. Back to you, Avo. And you can see out of the corner of your eye, you're now at the edge, but you can see out of the corner of your eye, Theric squaring off with someone in close combat.
And I am being grappled by...
You're currently grappled by the hobgoblin that has dragged you to the edge. You can tell he has every intention of throwing you off the edge of the ship.
Do I get sneak attack damage for that?
Not with spells.
If it's an attack,
You don't roll an attack with magic missile.
Oh, okay, yes. You have to roll. It does
Okay,
have to
so
be
if
a
I would
roll.
have used Firebolt, though, I could have gotten a sneak attack.
Well, you're squared up on the edge of the deck. You know that the enemy that's grappling you has every intention of throwing you over the edge as he dragged you to there. And you can see just beyond his shoulder, Theric squaring up with a large man with an axe.
I whisper a quick prayer to Grace.
Okay.
My green eyes flash a little greener, and even though the wind might not be so strong, the wind around me personally starts to flutter my hair and my clothing as I become Peerless Athlete. I get advantage on all of my athletics checks and
Awesome.
acrobatics checks for the next hour.
Awesome. Okay. Is that an action or bonus action?
That is a bonus action.
Okay.
That's my channel divinity.
Mm-hmm.
One of my channel divinity options. And then I need to roll an athletics check to get out of this grapple,
If you want to.
or I can just attack him.
You can just attack him. So your speed is 0 right now
Okay.
because of the grappled condition. It's up to you what you want to do with that. You can try to break it. You can try to grapple him back and move him. You can attack him because he's also grappled.
Okay, so I could try to move him as well.
You could
Alright, I would like to try to reverse this to see if I
So
can
you're gonna
throw
try to-
him off.
reverse and just push him off. Go ahead. So it's going to be an athletics check, and you get advantage. He's got a 12.
Oh, shit. He beats me. I have an 11.
Ooh, okay. So you spend a moment kind of wrestling back and forth. Blades are used more for pushing at this point. His sword and your sword kind of tangle as you're grabbing his jerk and he's pushing at you, but you don't manage to get any ground. You haven't moved him and you haven't escaped from being grappled.
Okay.
That's your action. You've used your bonus action. Your movement is 0, so
Correct.
you're done.
Yep.
Okay. It goes back to them. He is going to try to throw you off the side of the ship. So it is a opposed roll again. This time he only gets a 5.
I have definitely done better this time. 18.
Okay. He tries to throw you off the side of the ship. I'll give you the choice. You can either break his grapple, or you can push him backwards, not off the ship. Do you want to just break and stay where you are, or you want to push him away from you?
Break.
Okay, so you're no longer grappled. He is no longer holding you, but you're both still standing on the edge of the ship.
Okay.
The rest of the fight, the man that you did magic missile, Theric, spins to you with murder in his eyes and takes a chop at you with his axe. Hits a 14.
Miss.
Okay, you dodge below that, and you see both of your perceptions are pretty high. You see the man that is attacking Devereaux does stab Devereaux in the side with a dagger. Devereaux has got he's got an axe out. Even with the one arm in a sling, he's kind of pulled that out. It doesn't look as strong as it's supposed to be, but he's got his axe out. Devereaux grunts in pain. Lonnie and Nani are swarming over one person and stabbing at him. You do see Ranford and Webb kind of fighting back to back, and Captain Fairfax looks like he's engaged with 2 of the bandits that have made it to the deck of the ship. The 4 that were climbing up make it to the edge of the ship now as well, and you see that I think that Avo, you would notice this most because of your position on the edge of the ship. You actually recognize one of the ones that climbed up. The last time you saw him, he was in an alleyway chasing you. You looked back and he had stopped to talk to who you remember now was a dwarf that was actually Theric. But you see a hobgoblin, looks very familiar, climb onto the ship.
Do I recognize him though? They all look the same.
Well, I think that based on your perception, you would recognize him. It would go to Theric then.
All right. I'm going to look around. I see the guy with the axe. I see Avo and
When you look around, you spot this guy as well because he threw a dagger and hit you in the leg with it. You recognize this guy as well. He's a very particular looking hobgoblin with like a scar on his face, one large tooth.
I note him. Okay. But then, how far away am I from from Avo's combat?
The entire width of the ship is only maybe 15 to 20 feet, so you're close.
And is there a clear line between us, or is it obstructed?
It's clearish. Yeah, I mean, you can make it clear. A slight lean to one side or the other wouldn't be a problem.
All right. So what Theric is going to do is I'm going to spin in a circle and make a pushing gesture with my hand as I get in line up with the hobgoblin that Avo was playing, and when I do, a gust will fly out of my hand and push the guy. He has to make a strength check or he's going to fly 5 feet away from me.
Okay. He rolls a nat 1. You blow him off the side of the ship, and I'm going to have him make a reflex saving throw to see if he lands on his own ship or misses it. He rolled a 2 on his reflex saving throw. So, Avo, back on your side of the ship, as you've pushed this hobgoblin off of you, a moment later, a sudden gust of wind blows this guy off the ship, and you watch as he falls just between the two ships, tumbling down into the tempest in the dark. And you notice that when he falls, he does not fall in a slow pattern. Like, you know that some airship crews, like yourself, have the feather token. He clearly does not. He just plummets, screaming into the depths.
And as I come around,
here's where you get to test how deep or how far he will fall before he dies. Because I can't transfer my hex until he dies. Is it going to be hours?
Here's where I wish I was a warcaster, because I want to draw my sword, but then I don't have a free hand, so I can't cast spells. So I'm debating right now. But I'm not going to, and then I'll turn around and look at the guy in front of him like, hey, you're next.
Okay, give me an intimidation check. Let's say with advantage, you just blew a guy off the side of the ship.
13.
13? Okay, he's a steely-eyed pirate. He's seen death lots of times. Your threats don't seem to faze him. Back to Avo.
Looking around, does any of the crew seem to be having trouble that I can catch? Just
you see,
quick
Devereaux
glance.
is the one having the most trouble right now.
Right.
He was already injured, and he squared off with somebody, and has already taken a stab to the side. But he's up on the captain's deck, and you're down on the main deck. So he's about 25 feet away, up some stairs, and past another fight.
And he's fighting multiple people?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
I will call to grace again.
Okay.
How far away is he?
About 25 feet.
I am sending a bolt of light.
Okay. So you spin and a bolt of light shoots out of your hand?
Yeah, I'm
Guiding
using
bolt?
guiding bolt.
Nice.
Crit.
Crit. Nice. Okay. Absolutely hits.
So double damage?
It is
on
double
crit?
damage, yep. Double dice damage, which on guiding bolt is a lot.
Yeah. And if it doesn't kill him, then they'll have advantage to hit him next time too.
Right?
Okay, this is 24 points.
Avo, you spin, light glows in the palm of your hand, streaks across the deck, kind of cutting through the red glow of the moon, and hits this pirate in the side of the head and just ends his life. You watch as he just crumples to the deck next to Devereaux, who was trying to hold a defensive position, who looks down, meets your eyes, and kind of nods to you as that one drops to the ground. That's a bonus action, I believe, for guiding bolt.
Guiding bolt. No, it's an action.
That's an action. Okay.
But I will then draw my dagger as well.
Okay.
And move to the next closest enemy.
Okay. By the way, the one with Hex on him is not dead.
I had assumed that's why I didn't even make an. I assume that's going to be. This combat will probably be over by the time that happens.
Good.
I was assuming that was a possibility, so I wasn't even going to try to move it to a different person.
You draw your dagger and move to someone else?
Yes.
Okay, so of the ones, there's a number of pirates, but there's the one that was clearly the captain that just climbed onto the ship.
Okay. He would be first on my list unless I see someone else from the crew who seems to be in any way in trouble.
The crew are holding their own.
Okay.
That captain is unengaged at the moment and looks to be trying to coordinate his people.
All right. Then I will definitely move closer to him.
Okay. You rush over towards him. He, having got on the ship, has drawn a scimitar and a dagger as you approach. He does shout as you are rushing towards him to one of his men, who, once he shouts in a unfamiliar language. But he shouts, that man actually takes a step to the side and takes an attack on you as you move. He hadn't been in the line, but it looks like this order from his commander allowed him to do this. Hits at 15.
That will hit.
Okay.
Just.
You take 3 points of piercing damage as one of the pirates steps out of combat for just a moment to shank you as you run past. You get to this pirate leader, who then, his scimitar comes hacking down once from the left and once from the right. He hits a 18 and a 9. So the 18, I believe, draws a bright line across you. You feel the sting as your shoulder is slashed open. He does 6 points of slashing damage. The rest of the fight... Lonnie and Nani do drag one of the pirates down and just continually stab him to death. So there are 9 pirates plus a captain left, engaging with everybody.
Webb and Ranford
are engaged with 3 of them at the moment. Lonnie and Nani killed one, but are still engaged with another one. There's one that looks like he's trying to climb the rigging now towards Quartermaster Hillman, but it's just mass chaos in the deck at the moment. I'm going to go back to Theric.
I didn't get attacked.
I thought I did, but okay, you're right.
I think you rolled randomly, but you didn't actually attack me.
You're right. The one with the axe does... In fact, I think the one with the axe, he swung at you last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The one with the axe steps to one side, allowing him to position himself so that you are near enough one of his friends. It looks like that gives him a slight more confidence when he's trying to level an attack at you. And does a 13 hit you?
No.
Okay. Even with that slight level of formation and tactics that he's trying to use, his axe whistles across. You manage to duck below the attack. It looks like he's probably not used to fighting someone your size. Now it is your turn, Theric.
So he's calling me short.
He didn't say that. He passes you a message from the bartender. He said, the bartender said you're short.
The guy that he is standing next to now, how close is he to anybody else?
So he's kind of like shoulder to shoulder with somebody that guy is actually in combat with Captain Fairfax.
Okay. Alright, well, what do we want to do? Too many choices. Alright, this time... we're just going to cast another magic missile at him.
That's the one that you already hit once?
Yep.
Okay. So, again, your hand comes up, glowing darts, rainbow colored.
Point and 3 darts appear and shoot at him.
Okay.
Eight
8 points. You see blood. He like kind of coughs and just, ugh, and you see blood just kind of all over his chin, but still standing as these just impacts on his chest. He's just, he growls, tries to heft his axe up a bit. Any bonus actions or movement?
No.
Okay. Avo, back to the top.
All right. I am going to slash with my saber.
Okay.
With Gambler, and I'm also going to stab with my dagger as well.
Okay. And you are on the pirate captain, the band captain.
Correct.
Okay. Who, by the way, is also, I said he was a hobgoblin. He is wearing leather armor, or I'm sorry, studded leather armor. But he's kind of dancing back and forth on the balls of his feet. Go ahead.
First Gambler.
Okay.
A armor class of 16.
That'll hit. He's going to use his reaction, though, to parry, to add 2 points to his armor class. He blocks that attack.
Okay. Then my dagger.
Okay.
Uh, 20.
20 will hit.
And I am going to call out to Grace, sack a first level spell, and smite.
Okay. Alright. So the blade glows radiant as it stabs into his side.
These ones. 10 points.
10 points. Okay. He grunts in pain, but seems to take that without too much complaint. You'll pay for that. And then, is that it for you?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
The bandit captain, again, calls out to one of his men, who then break from a combat. I'm going to really quickly allow attack opportunity, which misses.
Get over here, you scurvy dog.
Run over and has surrounded you now, or flanked you, Avo, so that there's a regular bandit and the captain on you. The captain then swings his scimitar twice at you, with advantage now. He hits a nat 20 on the first swing, and a 14 on the second swing.
Miss with the second.
So the first swing, you take 10 points of slashing damage. The bandit behind you tries to stab you in the kidney with his short sword. Hits a 15.
That hits.
Okay. You take 4 points of piercing damage. Theric, the one that you've badly injured with the magic missiles, tries to grab you. He drops his axe and tries to grab you. He's going to try to grapple you. You can make an opposed athletics check if you want to avoid this.
Is that the only I can do?
In this moment, yes, unless you have any other reactions that you have. So opposed athletics, he's got a 12.
17.
17.
18, actually. I rolled a 17.
You are nimble and spry. He tries to grab hold of you. You just slip out of his grasp and step backwards. He kind of staggers, and you can see just like a bloody bubble up here at the corner of his mouth. He's badly injured from what you've done to him. The rest of the fight, Captain Fairfax drops one of the bandits on him, taking him down to a one-on-one fight with somebody. And Quartermaster Hillman does shoot, though doesn't kill, the one that's climbing the rigging towards her. It is now Theric's turn.
I could use athletics.
Theric or
Theric.
Oh,
My
I
turn.
thought you were looking at me.
I was looking at
Okay.
this right here.
Gotcha. Just as an aside, how many times did I get hit? 3?
No, twice. You got crit by the captain, and then once from the one behind
Okay.
him. The concentration?
Yeah.
Oh.
I won't find out how long it takes for him to... Because I lost concentration. Oh, wait, I get advantage. Concentration checks. So, yes, I'm good on that.
Give me a medicine check.
Medicine check?
Yeah.
15.
You feel your hex break free, but you know it's not because he hit. The slight connection that you have with the way the hex works, you think that he died from fear.
Huh.
But your hex breaks free in that.
Okay. All right. Well, because I had advantage, I did make my second. I made the concentration check regardless. But I didn't. Yeah. I still have my spell. It is
Okay. And on your turn, your hex is free.
cool.
Theric, it is your turn. But yeah, you believe that that guy died just straight up heart attack as he was falling, which is probably a mercy.
So Theric is going to look at the guy in front of him and start rubbing his hands together. As he does, you can see like smoke starting to come from his hands as he's making a firebolt.
Okay.
And then just draw back and kind of whiff it at him.
Awesome. Do the crackling of fire.
That will be a 17.
That'll definitely hit.
10 points.
With that, you just watch the fire engulf his head. He drops, kind of clawing at his face, and then just a smoking corpse falls to the ground next to you. Anything else?
How high up is the one in the rigging?
About 15 feet. He's got another 15 feet to go to get to where Quartermaster Hillman is.
I spring up and fly up level with him. I'm like, you sure you want to be here right now?
Okay, so your wings pop out, you fly up. You fly up and say, you sure you want to be here right now? Go ahead and give me another intimidation check. You just...
But that's my movement, and I want to draw my short sword. So.
Sure. Short sword is free to draw as you move.
Nat 20.
On intimidation,
Yeah.
Okay, you watch like the color just drain out of his face. He looks at you. You see his pupils dilate. You can hear a scream forming in his throat. It is back to Avo.
Alright, I will use my bonus action to transfer the hex to this captain.
Okay. You watch as a little glowing nimbus appears around him for a moment and then sinks into his flesh.
And then I am going to...
And remember, you are flanked.
Correct. Yeah, I'm attacking him.
Okay.
First with Gambler. 11.
11. He dodges out of the way.
Then my dagger.
Okay.
And that's going to miss as well.
Just dodging back and forth, weaving between your blades. Is that it?
How close is he to the edge?
He didn't really move very far away from it, so I'd say he's about 5 feet from the edge.
Can I see their ship?
You can see the edge of their ship. I mean, you moved. Yeah, you can see your. Hold on. You had run from the edge of the ship towards the captain. Mm-hmm. Yes, you can look down to the side and see the one person on their ship holding the captain's wheel, basically keeping the ship steady, because that ship is grappled to your ship still.
Okay. How far away is that person that is
that
steering the
person
ship from me?
He's down 20 feet and maybe he's about 30 feet away.
I already used my bonus action. All right. Yeah, I'm done. I'm
Okay.
in a bad position, but that's the way it is.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to start with the one that Theric just threatened that he got a nat 20 on the intimidation roll. He did not roll well enough to withstand that particular intimidation. He's going to break, his morale is going to break, he's going to try to flee. He tries to jump from the rigging back down to his ship, which is a jump, so I'm going to have him make an athletics check. Because he wants to be nowhere near this crazy flying fey creature that just murdered one of... Theric, you watch. The fear overcomes rationale. He jumps towards his ship, but not far enough, and falls to his death.
That's gonna hurt.
Maybe not.
When he falls, your eyes follow him down, and you look down to see Avo surrounded by the bandit captain and another one of his lackeys as they hack and slash at your friend. The bandit captain is going to hit a 15.
Just hit. Again.
And his second attack misses. The 15 will do 6 points of damage.
Okay.
And the bandit himself is going to hit he hits a 15 as well. That's going to be 4 points of damage. The bandit captain then yells. He hasn't attacked with his dagger yet. He's been 2 attacks with the scimitar each time. He turns and yells,
Kill your men and be quick about it.
and you see that one of them takes an extra stab
At Ranford.
who he does stab. So there's a number of your crew are now injured, but you're flying, so there's nobody that is near enough to you. I'm going to say that one of them is going to take is going to huck an axe up towards you, Theric. He's going to whip a hand axe. You hear it whistle through the air. Hits a 13.
Miss.
Okay, it just whistles past you. You hear a thunderous report as First Mate Devereaux's blunderbuss finally fires. And you also hear the twang of crossbow, but it looks like both sides have come to a standstill. There's just back and forth bloody combat, but no one is dropping at the moment. It is back to Theric. When Theric looks down, how bloody does Avo look?
Avo's in a pretty bad way.
Okay.
The guy that's behind Avo,
Mm-hmm.
not the captain, is
Right.
he by any of his mates?
He's within 5 feet of one of them.
Theric will pull out he's using his book as a spell focus, and then he pulls out a jug of water and starts pouring it and chanting. And as he's chanting, the water starts to form an ice dagger. And the dagger shoots off at the guy that Avo is fighting.
Okay.
And he'll hit a 19 on a die, 24.
That'll absolutely work.
So he will then take...
So, this did have an attack roll, and there is a friend of yours next to him. So that will get... No, it's a spell. Never mind.
Right.
Never mind.
He'll take 8 points from the ice knife.
Okay.
As it embeds in his back, but as it also embeds in his back, it explodes.
Okay.
And he himself and the guy anybody within 5 feet of him have to make a dex check.
And you're aiming this at the back part of the...
Try not to hit my crew
Or
him, just one guy,
Okay.
even if I can just hit one.
I think you can do this. It's not... Because you can aim at the back of it. So give me just an Arcana check. Or an Arcane check.
16.
Yeah, you're good. Wow. I got a 12 and a 9 on saving throws.
Neither of them are going to make it. I have a 14 DC.
Okay. How much damage do they take from that?
10 each.
10 each. The bandit behind you drops. Like, you hear him grunt in pain, just, and then you hear this, and he just drops as ice just forms and shoots out of his body. The one next to him kind of shrieks in pain as he is pelted by this shrapnel. Okay, yeah, that dropped one and severely injured another one. Anything else?
I'm going to make my way. Well, no. I'm gonna stay right where I'm at, hovering over combat.
Okay. You're right. I'm sorry. Avo, it's your turn.
All right. The captain is still...
Captain is now not flanking you, but still squared off with
Okay.
you. And there are 5 remaining bandits. One of them is injured.
Sword and then dagger.
Okay. So the tide has turned suddenly in your crew's favor.
A 14.
14, he dodges aside.
And a 17.
17 would hit, but he uses his reaction to parry that.
Okay. I am going to use my bonus action
Okay.
to Misty step down to the lone guy steering their ship.
Okay. So with a swirl of smoke, you vanish from the deck of the Lonely Horizon and appear on the smaller cutter's deck, next to the
Right next to him.
hobgoblin that is holding the steering.
Yeah, I want to be right
column.
behind him.
Okay. I'm going to see if he notices, because it doesn't necessarily make a noise. It's mist. He doesn't know you're there. You've appeared behind him, and he's just holding the ship. He was looking up. He saw you disappear, but he doesn't know where you went.
I'm out of action, so
Right.
I'm just there.
Yep. That leaves the enemies that are still on the ship to do what they're going to do. Let's see what happens. Theric, you're still on the ship. You see
Randorf go down.
under a slash to the throat, where he was already damaged from the...
Sorry.
you see Webb also get hacked in the shoulder with an axe. Not dead, but severely injured. And the captain moves over to engage Captain Fairfax. And Captain Fairfax is now fighting the captain and one of the crew. Lonnie and Nani look like they're moving towards where the captain is, but they're not there yet. So it's going fairly poorly now all of a sudden for your crew. It is your turn now, Theric.
Let's get some revival ran away.
Take this guy out and get back in the fight. I have 3 hit points left, dude. Dude was kicking my ass.
I will.
They were hitting exactly what they needed to hit me,
Were they?
like constant. The 15 is what they needed.
I will survey the situation. Know that I got lucky on the last ice knife, but I think I'm gonna have to try another area of effect spell again,
Okay.
and we're gonna have to shoot another one out there because I don't see another way to.
So there's 2 that are on Webb, and then the captain and 1 more that are on Captain Fairfax, and 1 that's trying to intercept, 1 that's injured, that you injured, that's trying to intercept Lonnie and Nani from helping Fairfax.
I will hit the 2 that are on web.
Okay.
I think that's fine because you said he was hurt worse than Fairfax.
He is hurt. Fairfax is wounded a little bit, but he seems to be holding his own.
So the same thing. I'll pour my water, and as I'm chanting, the water hardens into a crystalline ice knife and shoots out,
Okay.
and we'll hit 22.
That'll absolutely hit.
So the one I hit will take 5 points, and then
Okay.
I need to make dex saves again.
Do another arcane check to make sure that Webb avoids this.
20.
Yep. Yeah,
Two.
you're able to shape it away from Webb. Dex saving throws.
Yep.
I got an 11 and an 18.
The 18 will make it.
Okay.
So that takes 7 points from that, or half.
7 or half. Okay.
Yes. No, or nothing. I'm sorry.
7 or nothing.
Yep.
Okay. So the one that got hit failed his saving throw. He's taken a brunt of the damage. The other one managed to throw an arm up against the shards of ice as they shot out of his friend. You hear screaming and whatnot, but they still standing. I'm going to say the one that was trying to intercept Lonnie and Nani sees you do that, and he's going to... It's not his turn. Never mind. It is Avo's turn.
I'm going to...
He doesn't
Yes.
know you're there.
Well, he's gonna know, because I yell before I attack him.
Okay. Okay. You'll still get advantage because he's surprised.
Same thing on both die. Hits a 23. I'm sorry, 24.
That'll absolutely hit.
Roll 2 18s. Now.
So you do get sneak attack on this.
Okay. For 9 points.
9 points. Okay.
Dagger as well.
Yep, go ahead. It's also with advantage.
2 17s that time.
That'll hit. You get sneak attack multiple times, but yes,
Right.
that'll hit. Yeah, he screams in pain as your saber slashes across his back.
6 points for my dagger.
He's still standing, badly injured, and he's like as you hit him, he's gonna make a Constitution saving throw. Theric, you hear the groan of wood and snapping of ropes as the grappling hooks that were holding the side of the Lonely Horizon suddenly pull and snap as the ship that Avo is on starts to list away. As you slash this guy holding the wheel, he goes "Ugh!" and leans forward, and the entire ship kind of lists sideways. Give me a reflex saving or a dexterity saving throw. No, let's make it acrobatics.
I have advantage on it.
Yeah, let's make it acrobatics.
18.
Yeah, you manage to hold your feet despite the fact that the entire ship goes sideways for a moment before it starts to stabilize. You do hear the snap of all of those ropes, and you watch the railing of the Lonely Horizon fall past you, and you are now about 50 feet away from the ship.
Shit.
I was wondering what your idea was.
That didn't go quite as I had hoped.
Even if you'd have killed the guy, what were you going to do? The ship was going to take off anyway. That's what I was like, okay.
He, holding the wheel with one hand, draws a curved dagger, spins back, and tries to swing at you, Avo. Only hits a 11.
Okay.
He's a bit. He feels like you can tell he doesn't want to let go of the wheel fully, so his aim is not great. Combat on the ship continues. You watch Theric. You watch the captain stab the bandit leader. Captain Fairfax stabs the bandit leader. You watch as he goes into a low lunge. His blade sinks into the guy's stomach and pulls out red about a foot onto the blade. Bandit leader's still standing. You watch Captain Fairfax take a fairly bad slash across the cheek, still standing. Webb goes down in a bloody mess. From the one, there's still 2 on him. And
I didn't kill the one, did I?
but as Webb drops, his last blow does drop the one that you hit with the ice knife. So Webb and one of them die, which leaves the 2 on Captain Fairfax, and one that was on Webb, and one that is now sparring with Lonnie and Nani. So it's a total of 3 on the ship still, and then 1 that's on the smaller cutter ship. It is now Theric's turn. And you can see, Theric, you can see that Devereaux is holding, First Mate Devereaux is holding the ship in place, but he's also reloading his rifle.
So Theric...
And there are a number of crossbow bolts that have come down and hit different people, so everybody is working.
I'm going to look around, and I look at the enemy captain, and I'm going to make my dart throwing motion, and as I do, a magic missile is going to appear in the air. But
Okay.
instead of 3 this time, there's going to be 4, because I'm
Okay.
casting it as a second one as well.
Upcasting magic missiles. Nice. Magic missiles whirl, dodging among targets on the deck as they slam into the captain. Pop, 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 pop.
10.
10 points. You hear him grunt in pain. He looks over his shoulder at you and he says, "You'll pay! You'll all pay!" Anything else?
And then I fly over towards the edge looking for the other ship that...
Okay. As you fly over the edge and look towards the other ship, you can just barely look down and see the tumbling railing and the grappling hooks falling. And you realize that that ship that Avo is on has drifted about 50 feet away. And you can see him now in the dark. 50 feet is very dim for you. But you can see him engaged with a man that is standing holding the wheel with a curved knife. It is...
Huh. Wonder what he's going to do with that thing.
You watch as Avo bursts into motion.
I'm gonna slash the guy again.
Okay. You jump in with Gambler, bring it across.
17.
You hit.
For 6 points.
You drop him. So as your blade slashes out, tearing out his
And
throat,
I want to
he
dive
falls.
for the wheel.
Yeah, he falls backwards. The wheel starts to spin a little bit. You grab hold of it. So it is going to be a athletics check to stabilize the ship before it starts to spin out of control. This will chew up your bonus action and your movement for this turn.
21.
Okay. You feel you are not the right person. You're not attuned to this ship.
Right.
This has been explained to you by the captain. You're not attuned to this ship, so you're not the right one to be doing this, but you're on the ship and you don't have a lot of choice. You grab hold of that wheel, and it is... You remember times in the temple when you were working out with the older paladin there that you were friends with, lifting large stones, building muscle. That's what it feels like as this wheel wants to turn, and you're holding this, keeping it stable as this ship fights you. But you manage to hold the ship in place, maintaining its position. Next turn, you can attempt, if you want, to maneuver the ship closer. It is the enemy's go. Well, it's the combat, the melee. The one that Lonnie and Nani are scuffling with go down under a hail of stabs. Lonnie does take a fairly bad stab to the stomach as it happens. She cries out in pain and kind of rolls on the deck, but her sister's on the man stabbing him. And that leaves one on the captain and one more who is standing over Webb. Let's try to throw a axe at you, Theric. He misses though. At which point he starts running over towards his captain. So he's running to help the captain. The captain and Fairfax, Bandit Captain and Fairfax, are just sparring back and forth. It doesn't look like either Devereaux or Quartermaster Helmet can get a clear shot on that fight. But they both take shots at the one that's running to try to help Bandit Captain. You hear a thunderous report as First Mate Devereaux blows that man's upper torso, like his whole right arm is gone, as he just drops to the deck in a bloody smear. It is your turn, Theric. The only one remaining on the deck of the ship of the Lonely Horizon is the Bandit Captain, who is now, you can see, just like in a frenzy. Like his eyes eyes are fully dilated, whites around his eyes. Looks like he knows he's fighting for his life. Plus his ship is left at this point, as far as you can tell. He's only got one option. It's your turn.
I've only got one option as well, and that would be cast Magic Missile at second level again.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've got another option, Ice Knife or something, but Magic Missile's more finesse. So, same thing as last time. I'm going to throw 4 darts, make the motion. As I do, a dart appears and zips towards him.
Okay. And they just, again, they whirl and twist across the deck, avoiding your allies, and thud into the side of the
And
Bandit
these ones are
Captain.
going to hurt a lot more. 17 points.
Wow.
Almost max damage.
17 points. That captain, I think he raises his sword up as he's fighting Captain Fairfax. His side is to you mostly. He raises his sword up and he says, "The Song of Iron!" And then your darts, and you just watch his body just like a marionette cut strings, he just crumples to the deck and collapses dead. At which point, we're going to cut back to Avo as you can't quite tell what's going on the deck of your ship. You're focused on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a... Okay, so this is... You're not attuned to this, so this is going to be a muscle or a finesse. So I'll let you make a choice. You can either do athletics, which I think is your choice, or you can do sleight of hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna do athletics.
Okay.
Definitely. 22.
You manage to stabilize the ship, and the controls are still foreign to you. You've watched Captain Fairfax, you've watched First Mate Devereaux, and you've watched Quartermaster Hillman slightly, but you've never put your hands on the wheel. And you realize that unlike... It's not just a left and right motion, that it tips forward and backwards and can sink and raise as well. That the entire assembly is almost fluid inside the ship where this wheel is. Takes you a moment, and I think that up on the Lonely Horizon, Theric, after you're dropping the bandit captain, you look over and you see this small cutter ship kind of wobble back and forth before coming to a perfectly smooth, stabilized flatness, and then rising up next to the Lonely Horizon with Avo at the helm.
Wow.
And with that,
I'm impressed.
By this point, it's only been 30 seconds. The island has fallen away. There are still swarms of crows just kind of circling overhead, trying to figure out which direction they're going to head, what island they're going to head to. Some of them are landing in the masts of the ship or on the decks of these ships because there is no other island nearby. Crows are not meant for long distance flight. But heavy breathing. You see Lonnie and Nani rush over to try to help see what they can do
for their fallen companions.
You do realize that during the fight you didn't know about it, but one of the bandits had snuck in through the cannon port, and you see Cilantro come out of the below holds with a bloody meat cleaver and a human hand in her other hand.
Can we steal a ship? Can somebody who knows how to fly it take it? I just say in general.
Yeah, Captain Fairfax kind of like leaning on he's got his hands on his knees, kind of heavy breathing. He's just dropped his sword from the combat. You see he's got a cut that goes from his ear to the base of his jaw on his chin, bleeding. He looks over and he says, I wouldn't say you're stealing it. I'd say you've earned it if that's what you want.
No, but I mean, can somebody fly it better than him? Or somebody that has experience?
Can somebody take over?
So, Quartermaster Hillman swings
I say, Hillman,
down.
can you get over there? Or do you need help?
Quartermaster Hillman swings down from the mast across the gap and lands on the cutter, and then starts throwing ropes back and forth. And Avo, you realize when she lands on the deck that the ship feels like it's not pulling as bad. Like somebody who has attuned to a ship somehow is offering some level of calm to the umbrelite that is powering this thing. She starts lashing the two ships together so that they are stabilized together.
And while they're doing that, I'll go render. I'll pull out my herbalism kit and start rendering aid.
Okay.
Is there any way to brace this wheel?
So once she looks back at you, and again, she's a woman of few words, but she looks back to you and she goes, "You're doing good, Avo. Just hold still for a moment." And she quickly starts lashing the ships together. And every rope that she ties, you can feel the wheel pulling less and less, to a point where it takes about a minute for her to throw the ropes back and forth. And Captain Fairfax and Cilantro are helping on that side. Once the ships are fully locked together the right way, that wheel goes inert, like it's not trying to pull.
Okay.
But it's just, as long as you're maintaining, I'm not making you make rolls, but you're just maintaining what you're doing. You rolled really well the last time. They get the ship stabilized, so they're docked together for the most part. So at this point, you realize you can let go, that the wheel won't do anything strange, and you get the impression that as long as they are docked properly by people who are attuned and know how to use these ships, that this will just stay on the side of the Lonely Horizon, and you can return to your ship. But it takes about a minute. During that time, Theric, you said you want to try to use a medicine kit to see what you can do.
Well, my herbalism kit. And
So,
I have medicine.
Here's the thing. There's Webb is down,
Ranford is down.
and one of the girls, Lani or Nani, has been stabbed in the stomach. She's not down. She's on the ground bleeding, but she's still conscious. Who do you go to first? Because this is important.
She's still conscious. Can I tell if the other two are breathing?
Without checking them, no. And they're near enough each other, but you're going to have to choose one. And that's why I say it's important, because they've been down for a minute, well, for a second or two.
I'll go to Webb.
You go to Webb. He was the last one to go down.
Yeah, I'll go to Webb.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. He was my...
Yep. You rush to Webb. He's dying, but still alive. So you have a moment if you could try to stabilize him. So it's a medicine check. Well, hold on. You have a herbalism kit, not a medicine kit.
No, herbalism kit.
Okay. So it's I'm going to give you it's a DC 15 to stabilize him with an herbalism kit.
I thought it was 10 to stabilize, 15 to give him a hit. Nat 20.
You heal him a point. So as you bend down, you start, and I'm going to say that there's a little tiny bit of the mushroom tea still in your system, and you see exactly the vials to pull out of your herbalism kit as you start to administer to Webb. And as you bind those wounds, you start to put pressure on places. You see his eyes kind of flutter, a deep, ragged breath fills his chest, and he opens his eyes. He looks up to you and he goes, "Did we win? Are we okay?"
I just go to...
Okay.
How bad does Lani or Nani look? She's going to be alright, it looks like. She's going to have a little bit of time left at least.
Nani's not bleeding out. She's just injured.
Okay. Then yes.
But when you
Look over to Ranford.
he's dead. He's bled out. His
That's
eyes
what I
are open.
figured.
Yeah, his eyes are open. He is dead. So yeah, that's he's done. And I'm going to say that the time it took you to stabilize Webb is about how long it took to get the ships locked together. At which point, Quartermaster Hillman kind of walks back over. At this point, there's no railing on the Lonely Horizon, so she just steps back over to the deck of the ship. Looks around. She goes over, and you can see that Cilantro is working with the captain, like trying to bandage his face. Quartermaster Hillman goes over and checks on the halfling, who Lani and Nani are together, basically holding a rag to the stomach, the wound. And with that, the night kind of grows quiet. The few crows that did not land on the ship fly off into the dark. The only noises you hear is the slow drift of wind and the occasional caw of a crow, and just labored breathing of a crew that survived a deadly attack, and the slow creak and drift of the ships.
It's one hell of a day.
And with that, we are going to end today's episode. Tune in next time to the Shattered World of Voar.
This has been Gen XP. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week.